Good evening and welcome to Upon Further Review. We are rolling along the championship trail as we are getting ready to move into the regionals this coming Friday night. And Eric, we had a really good one again with Carroll and Northrop out at Carroll High School. And again, Carroll just looks right now like a team it's going to be tough to beat. They're playing some of their best football. And they really had control of that game pretty much from the start.
Yeah, big game on Friday night. Sectional championships across the area. Several teams moving on. Of course, our Midwest Box Breaks game of the week was Carroll versus Northrop in that 6A championship game in Class 6A Sectional 2. And, another high-scoring affair between these two. Not as much scoring, not as many penalties. A better played game all around as far as this late in the year. But ultimately, I think Carroll proved to be too tough on both sides of the ball and ultimately got that big victory and fourth sectional championship for the Chargers in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and, there were some costly penalties in the game. Northrop really had some costly offside calls that gave up first downs, and Carroll was able to take advantage of that, and that really ended up hurting Northrop in this ball game, having to take timeouts because they didn't have enough guys on the field during a punt team. There was just some things in that game for Northrop that were just uncharacteristic from that perspective. But Carroll, by all counts, took control early and got the run game going. That's the one thing that I think this Carroll team has improved the most from the beginning of the year to where we're at now. They have a semblance of a run game, whether it's Freisinger, Asher Wagner, you can name a couple others.
Yeah.
Their running game has come a long way since week 1 of the season.
Yeah, very complimentary. I mean, you look back at this game just on Friday night, Gabe Freisinger throws for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns and a pick, but on the ground, 104 yards with 3 touchdowns. So, you go back, several weeks in the regular season between these two. Both of these quarterbacks threw for 300 plus yards. The running game really helped Carroll yet again. And I think where we saw that kind of that fork in the road moment, if you will, for Carroll's running offense was that Northrop game where they started to open it, and Gabe Freisinger himself, the ability to move the chains and get out in the open and run the ball too. And I think that was to their benefit. But yeah, they've gotten some other guys coming along. Asher Wagner had a big game, like you mentioned, 134 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Rhodes, and a really cool name that we got to hear this weekend, Devon Quixote, for a senior for Carroll. Had not heard his name really at all, and he finally got in some games, got a carry there. So I think ultimately it's a little bit by running back by committee with Gabe Freisinger leading the way, but ultimately too, that running game is going to have to come alive for Carroll as it continues, and it did the trick on Friday night.
Yeah, they had 3 guys that were they had 2 guys over 100. Jackson Rhodes, of course, was short by 3 yards, but I think that was the biggest difference in this ball game and what we've seen of Carroll of late is the running game, and that in itself was a huge plus for Carroll. But you got to talk about a game that was right down the road from Carroll High School at Shields Fields, where Bishop Dwenger just controlled a game from start to finish and never let East Noble breathe, I guess you could say.
Yeah, absolutely. A dominant performance by Bishop Dwenger over East Noble. Class 4A Section 19 championship. And look, we got the matchup we wanted to, what we expected. Number 1 East Noble versus a top 10 team in Bishop Dwenger. And that was the question. How does the Dwenger defense, as good as they are, slow down? And did they do that? I mean, it was a dominant performance, and then the offensive side of things too. So as much as we talk about Carroll, how their running game has come along to complement the defense, and the defense has come along. I mean, all across the board for Bishop Dwenger too.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic performance on Friday night. AJ Shefferly had 3 touchdowns, I believe. Gus Tippmann got into the game finally, and ability to get in his senior year in a sectional game and get in there and get a touchdown. And in fact, we'll be chatting with Gus here in a few minutes here on Upon Further Review, just to talk about the big win Friday night. But just a great showing for Dwenger that, SAC champion has proved it all year long. And this was another mighty display of the Saints.
Back-to-back shutouts.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, they shut out the Columbia City the week prior to that, and then they do this to, which really surprising. East Noble is such a dynamic offense, and they've got Austin Phillips. We can go right down the list of players that they have. That you've got to give them a ton of credit for what they did and have done from week 1 with that defense. But also here in the playoffs, their defense is on point and their offense is rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Dwenger, or that East Noble team, had scored a lot of points too. And their defense had not become too shabby either. And so it's one of those things. But that Dwenger defense, 3 interceptions and a forced fumble against East Noble. And we talked about it a little bit with that Southside game that came down to that final minute for East Noble to score. Southside was able to turn East Noble over twice. And I talked two Southside turnovers, Southside forcing turnovers is like Dwenger forcing 4 or 5. And if you look at the stat line, what did I say? 4 turnovers Friday night for East Noble. That was a big part of it because they just couldn't find the end zone. And then Dwenger's offense on top of it, 116 yards and 3 touchdowns for AJ Shefferly, another touchdown for Gus Tippmann, like we mentioned in his return. So just a great showing across the board for Dwenger. And they continue to roll and on to regional. They'll face I believe the Lebanon Tigers in Lebanon on Friday night. So the Saints go marching on, and it's a really strong showing the last couple weeks.
Yeah, well, they head to Lebanon, very tough place to go play. The Carroll Chargers head to Penn, another place that's very difficult to go play. So both these schools that are playing really good football right now are gonna really earn this week being on the road at 2 places that is very difficult to win at.
Yeah, absolutely. Some other teams just off the top from Friday night in Class 3A. Angola, big win over Garrett. We'll talk about that later on. We'll be joined by Hawk Harrelson from that team. Hawk Hasselman, I should say, from that team. And also Bishop Luers with the win over Mississinewa. Very convincing win over Mississinewa on the road in Class 3A. Adams Central keeps rolling in 2A. They get a dominant win over Eastside. And then South Adams, another team that is back-to-back regional appearances here, trying to knock it down. We'll talk about all those games coming up. But we talked about it just a few minutes ago, Dwenger's big win. We're delighted to be joined now by our first guest of the evening. Thrilled to have him on. Gus Tippmann from Bishop Dwenger High School, running back. Gus, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Yep. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing fantastic, and you got to feel great too. You guys get the sectional championship over East Noble on Friday, and you make your return to the Saints lineup, getting in there, getting a goal line touchdown in that game. You've been out since week 4. First of all, for you, the ability to get back out there with the guys and to participate and play and win a sectional championship with Bishop Dwenger.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. This is one thing that we've been looking forward to all year. We finally got some hardware, and just like the energy we've been bringing all year, winning SAC, beating big teams, and just getting some hardware with all the boys, getting back. It's awesome.
Yeah. We mentioned it. You've been out basically since week 4. Week 4 was that huge game you had against Carroll that ultimately decided the SAC championship. Last couple of weeks for you, just getting back, the ability to get back with the injury that you had. Just talk about the process the last couple of weeks and not losing hope on returning and getting back especially as a senior?
Yeah, it's been so crazy. I've been rehabbing like crazy for the past 7 weeks. I didn't get to play in our last game versus Columbia City, which was expected. And just to get back and get back into the movement, get back with the guys. All the guys bring the energy up for me. They're excited to have me back. And yeah, it's just been crazy. And I'm super excited to be back.
Yeah. The success you guys have had, we always kind of talk about it, that running back by committee mentality. A lot of those guys are probably your cousins and all of that stuff that are back there.
Yeah.
But how important has that been? Because you go down with the injury, somebody like AJ steps up. We see some of the other guys, Cohen step up, and all those guys. To talk about that unit and the importance that it has played to have, so many kind of interchangeable parts, if you will, but a committee like that where everybody gets it done kind of together.
Yeah. No, just having so much depth in our running back room. AJ Shefferly, he's been lead blocking and carrying the ball since he was a sophomore. Houston Ellinger, he didn't really get too many reps last year. He's been a dog all year. And then Colin Campbell, the young Colin Campbell, he's a sophomore this year. They've all been stepping up a lot, and it's just nice having so much depth because then we can just continue to still move the ball in the running back game. But yeah, it's nice.
And it's kind of become a defensive effort too. I mean, in some respects, I always go back to that Carroll game of keeping teams on the sideline, high-flying offenses, the East Nobles of the world, the Carrolls of the world, even against Northrop, where they beat you guys, but a lower scoring affair from what we see from those Bruins. That importance of it, the ground and pound style of Dwenger football that we know so well, as a strategy, what goes into that part of the game plan on Friday nights?
Yeah, no, it's really nice, having one of the best defenses in the area helps us a lot, and we don't have to rely on just one side of the ball. Offense depend on the defense depend on the offense type of aspect. And, having such a good defense and being able to stop big teams like this so the offense can get the ball moving it's nice.
Yeah, you guys got a big one coming up now on the road at Lebanon, a team that is very good at home, and it's not not out of the realm of possibility that place will be rocking Friday night there at Lebanon. You're going to face a team that has over 2,300 yards rushing on the year, led by Parks, their running back, who's had 1,100 on the ground already, and a quarterback, Hill, who's thrown for almost 1,720 yards, I guess, on the year. So you're going to face another quote unquote juggernaut offense in the regional final this Friday. What can you guys take away from facing a team like East Noble and parlaying that into this Friday's game against Lebanon, knowing that they have a high flying offense as well?
Yeah, we've played a lot of big offenses, so that's like a good test for us. I think Lebanon will be a good test for our defense. But our linebackers have been stepping up, which I think they can help stop the run game. Dougie Henry, Casey Piper, Cooper Campbell, those guys have been balling out all year. And then even like our secondary has been awesome with Jackson Parrish, Nick O'Keefe and those guys. And I don't know, I think it'll be a good test for them, but I think with our defense, I think we got a good shot.
What about you, Gus? I mean, do you feel like you're 100%, or are you still kind of feeling your way through being out for so long and trying to get yourself back to 100%? How do you feel right now as a football player in terms of your body and such?
Yeah, I've been feeling really good. I've been feeling a lot better. All this rehab that we've been doing, and it's just been, my foot's been feeling a lot better, getting it taped and stuff before the games, make sure it's all good and secure. But yeah, just getting back into things on the offensive side has been awesome. I didn't get too many carries the other night, but just to even touch the ball a couple times is awesome, and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I mean, it's tough to sit on the sideline watching your boys play and not being out there playing as well because of being out with an injury. It's never fun that way. But again, you guys keep it rolling. Like you stated earlier, you started out with the Summit Athletic Conference championship, and then you've parlayed that into a sectional championship. So now you're getting to play for that next step up. What has Coach Garrett been preaching here over the last 24 hours? And sure, you guys have had a chance to review the game and start talking about Lebanon a little bit here the past couple days.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all about the energy that we bring. And, everyone's staying focused in practice like we have been the past 3 weeks. Kind of just like the we want it more aspect of the game. And yeah, as long as we're focused, I think everything will go all right.
Sure. You're a senior. What does the Tippmann family and Dwang, or let put it this way, what does Dwenger mean to the Tippmanns? And then what do you think the Tippmann name means to Dwenger football?
Yeah, my whole family pretty much have gone to Dwenger, guys like some of my cousins like Hayden Ellinger getting to play, like Devin Tippmann, TJ Tippmann, all those guys, Louis Tippmann, those type of guys getting to run the ball. I mean, it's nice that I get to do what they get to do, having the same last name. But yeah, just like Bishop Dwenger means a lot to our family, and yeah, it's awesome.
Sure. And there's several of your, I mean, how many do you know this year? How many Tippmanns? I mean, some of the moms, some of your aunts and stuff are moms, were Tippmanns and they married so different names, but there's a lot of them, right, that are not even named Tippmann necessarily.
Yeah. Well,
Any idea?
Wait, what was that?
Any idea on the numbers of family cousins you have this year? Or
I know at the school, like first cousins, I think we have like 18-ish.
Okay.
Like but like other names like that, I wouldn't
Okay.
even have a guess.
All right, so at least 18 in the school at Dwenger.
Yeah.
On the football team, probably 9. Or I know one year there was like 9. I think somebody had said that, but that's interesting. No, it's always a talker, and we see, and there'll be plenty of more Tippmanns, I'm sure, to come through Bishop Dwenger. Well, Gus, we wanted to have you on tonight. We tried to get you on last year, and the schedule didn't work out, but we were glad to get you on this year. And I know it's one of those years that you didn't get a full season in, but when we saw that you were back and scored on Friday night, we thought, hey, let's bring him on and just talk about his career here. And so what's next for you after high school? You play rugby too? I mean, is there sports in your future? What does that look like for you after high school?
Yeah, I play rugby in the spring, but athletically, I don't really know if I'm planning on going to college for sports or not. But I'm still deciding on some stuff, just like what I want to do and whatnot. But yeah.
And it's been a fun ride for you, for sure. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight here on Upon Further Review. Best of luck to you and Bishop Dwenger Saints as you now move on to the regional round and face the Lebanon Tigers in Lebanon on Friday night. I believe a 7:30 kick there as well. And we'll be watching, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.
All right.
Good luck, Gus.
Yep. That was Augustus Gus Tippmann, talented running back from the Bishop Dwenger Saints. And Coach, how cool was that to see a good kid who missed, most of his senior season, gets in the sectional championship, has rehabbed enough, overcome that injury, out there, scores a touchdown, and on top of it, they win a sectional championship at the end of the night.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has, had a start of the year was really good, and things are going quite well for him, and unfortunate that he got dinged up enough that's kept him out for a while. But again, that's the game of football. Sometimes it's not forgiving that much, but yeah, I think it's good to get him back. I think it's a boost in the arm for them because they got another guy back there that can run, and he's fresh. I mean, here's a guy that's been fresh now, and he's got a chance to really pick it up here in the next couple of weeks and be a big boost to the ball club.
Yeah, and I think he was just about get into his groove when we saw him at Carroll, and then he goes down. I mean, you look at the numbers. He was, he had eclipsed 1,100 yards and all of that. So for him, some of the opportunities that may have presented himself this year in some of those bigger games did not, but ultimately Bishop Dwenger gets the sectional. They get the SAC championship. He gets to play a little bit, and it looks like he'll be back on Friday night for the Bishop Dwenger Saints as they head to regionals. So good luck to him and to Dwenger. And we are up against our first break here on Upon Further Review. When we come back, we'll look at some more of Friday night's sectional championship action and some more talk towards regional as we go on right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Upon Further Review here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM, and all the other platforms you may be joining us tonight from, whether it's X or YouTube. Again, we appreciate you coming by and helping us bring on these guys throughout the year and giving them the notoriety that they deserve. Gus Tittman, we just had on. He's a kid that ran very hard when we had him early on in the season. It was a misfortune he got hurt, but again, I'm glad to see him back and at it now for Dwenger, so it should be a cool one. But alongside Eric Dukevich, I'm the coach, Shannon Griffith, and Eric, another big win in the area, a team that has caught fire, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
The Hornets from Angola have really found their rhythm, as you could say. They played Garrett, both 6-5 on the year. Both teams kind of got hot at the right time. And then this past weekend, Angola was able to keep it rolling there at Garrett, winning 30-28 in a pretty darn good ball game. We're going to see what all this comes up in a second when we get a chance to talk with Hawk. A great game.
This was unbelievable. Two NECC teams, and quite honestly, the Cliff Notes version, and we'll break it all down more with our guest here. We're going to be joined by Hawk Hasselman here in a minute, but 18 unanswered points in the final 2 minutes for Angola. And that's I think crazy. The last 33 seconds, they scored 10 points and an onside kick. And I mean, it was some of the craziest stuff that you'll ever see and recap and read. And you know what? That's what's great about it. And here to join tonight to talk all about it, one of the big stars for Friday night and from this season for the Angola Hornets. We're pleased to be joined now by Hawk Hasselman from the Angola Hornets. Hawk, good evening to you.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations to you and Angola on winning that sectional championship, your first since back-to-back in 17 and 18. But wow, what a game it was. What a run to the sectional it's been. Let's start with Friday night. That last 2 minutes, that last 33 seconds. I mean, what keeps coming back to mind for you on how Angola was able to pull out that 30-28 win over Garrett?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't play our best football in the first half or even the first three quarters, but our guys just kept at it and made plays when we could, and it all worked out in the end.
Yeah. You talked about the first half didn't play so well. What was the difference in the second half and that kind of that comeback mentality? You guys have been doing it, the better part of a month, I think, is the way some of these big games. West Noble in the sectional, Tippecanoe Valley, you guys got the upset. The last couple of weeks, what's been about this team to not count yourselves out and keep going strong and find your way to a sectional championship?
Yeah, we've definitely started playing more physical up front. Our guys on the O&D line have really stepped up. Seniors, Lucas Lentz, Joey Petrancoster, even guys freshmen like Owen Scholl, they're just really stepping up right now, and that's been the difference for us, letting the skill guys come in and score on offense or keeping us clean so we can make tackles on the defensive side.
Sure. The do everything Hornet is what I call you. And one of the best names, by the way, Hawk Hasselman. Hawkins, I believe, is your first name. We'll ask you about the name side of things here in a little bit, how maybe that came to be. But looking at your stat line from Friday night, and this is all I've kind of compiled this together, a 15-yard reception touchdown, a 9-yard halfback pass touchdown, another 38-yard reception at the late stages, 3 extra points, and the 20-yard sectional championship winning field goal right before time expired. you are the do everything kid over here for Angola. But seriously, I mean, wow. How do you do all that? I mean, that's a lot. Plus you play some defense too. And you've had some defensive stats in there this year too, but everywhere on the field on offense. I mean, just talk about what Friday nights are like for you and just getting out there and just giving your best, and wherever you can do it, you do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just try and make the most of the opportunities that come to me. I mean, I've been very blessed to have a family and older brothers that I grew up and I didn't have a choice. I had to had to survive, and so every time I'm on that field, it's just out there to prove what I can do and show everybody that I am a good football player.
Hey, Hawk, talk about this 20-yard game-winning field goal. Did they try to ice you? Did they take a timeout prior to the snap? What was the scenario surrounding this?
No, so we get the onside kick, and immediately we throw a 50-yard pass to Tyler Ruppel. He made it one of the craziest catches I've ever seen, and we get up there and we spike the ball, and we come out. We were gonna run another play out of I formation, and so they called a timeout. I think it was their last timeout then, and so after that we came out. We ran one play, spiked it again, and then they didn't have any timeouts, so just kicked the field goal.
So you got a chance to just basically go out and just stay in the framework of the play and kick it. That's pretty cool.
Sir.
That's a pretty cool. And it's great to be on that side of the type of win. I've been on both sides of it in my career. The other side is it's a kind of an unbelievable shock that, all of a sudden you guys roar back and win a game in the last second. So I'm glad that you were on that side of it. But here's an interesting story this week that you're coming up against at Knox, by the way, this Friday night, I do believe. Miles McLaughlin just broke Derrick Henry's one on a single season rushing record this past weekend and the Knox's game. 4,000 yards on the season this year, 4,000. And he beat Derrick Henry's single season record. He's had some actually public acknowledgement of that, of national news type of acknowledgement. So, but the interesting thing is he plays quarterback too. That's the other thing that is kind of crazy in this situation. What have you guys started on Knox in terms of your preparation and knowing that you're facing a very dynamic player like this young man, Miles? What has Coach talked about? What are some of the things that you guys have already done in the preparatory aspect of it? Because you don't get much time. I mean, you get, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and next thing you know, it's a ball game on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great football player. We know that. We know we're going to have to play extremely well. And so just they're a heavy run team, so we're going to have to stop the run and keep their offense off the field the best we can, put together long drives and stop them when we can. So they try and get them off schedule, maybe throw the ball a little more and see what we can do.
There's the answer right there, because they've only thrown 20 passes on the year. So this is kind of the area version of Adams Central in some respects, a team that loves to run the ball on the ground majority of the time. And how do you beat these guys? You get them uncomfortable. You get them off schedule, behind the chains, get a lead, and those type of things. And the way you guys have been playing here the last few weeks, you guys got to have a lot of confidence heading into this ball game. How is it for you? Has your confidence just really skyrocketed here over the last few weeks as you guys have kind of really caught lightning in a bottle, per se, as a football team?
Yeah, going into the year, I knew we had a good team, and believed in myself. But these past few weeks has been more about believing in each other and trusting each other to do their job. Like throughout the year, we had some pretty critical mistakes of trying to do too much, but we've kind of come together as a team and trusted each other, and that's what's pushed us to the next level and given us the confidence to come back late in these games.
Yeah, you guys lost some tight ball games during the season. And as you got to the playoff aspect, you play Tippy Valley, good football team. You play West Noble. We know what they've done over the last couple of years. You beat them by 1. And now you go to Garrett and win in the last waning second. So you guys have got to feel really good about where you're at as a football team overall as we watch some tape here of your season, catching a ball there. But on defense, what has been some of the best things for you guys defensively heading into some of these teams that like to run the ball? I mean, what has been about your defense that's kind of given you guys an opportunity to stop some teams?
Yeah, it's definitely our guys up front. That's been the biggest difference in these playoffs. They have stepped up their play and done really well against Tippy Valley. They dominated, and we were able to stop the run and only gave up 6 points that game. And then same things. We struggled a little bit in the first parts of the last 2 weeks, but same thing. And Gus Haven, middle linebacker, makes a ton of tackles. Guys in the secondary just having good eyes, playing their man and doing their job, and that's what's allowed us to play good defense in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Hawk, the name. I mean, is there any, Hawkins is really what your first name is. You go by Hawk. Is there a story behind that name there, or what's on that?
I'm not sure. My parents, they just kind of, I think they saw the name somewhere, Hawkins, and liked the way it sounded. And because initially they were going to name me something different, but they couldn't agree on the nickname, so they had to change it. But and then
great name. I meant to ask you this: what other sports are you doing this year? Or you're looking, for the rest of the year? Are you a multiple sport guy?
In the past, I've run track. I'm not sure on that yet. Might take that just to focus on football because I do plan to play in college. But so we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been a fun ride to watch you guys. Yeah, obviously the ride continues. You got a tough one on Friday night with Knox and with Miles McLaughlin, but ultimately we wanted to get you on. You're our first Angola Hornet to come on upon further review in the couple seasons we've done this. So we wanted to talk with you and share with the milestones that you guys been able to have. What a tremendous season. You guys were sub 500 at one point. Now you've climbed all the way to a sectional championship and still playing here in November of 2025. Hawk, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and best of luck to you and the Angola Hornets the rest of the way.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good luck, Hawk.
That was Hawk Hasselman, the senior do everything. Running back, he can throw, he kicks, he plays defense. I mean, he's going to go down as one of the good ones to come out of Angola and to top it all off with this postseason run. It's been pretty special for him and the Hornets up in Angola. Yeah,
you could watch, even just watching his highlights there, you could see how athletic he is on the field. Very fluid, good hips. He's got good speed, and that's the type of guy that is going to give you everything each and every Friday night. And it probably hurt a little bit when the season's over, when you lose a senior, like that, because it's hard to get those guys, those special players, to let them go on to bigger and better things. But again, I think that's one of the nice things about having kids on here is you get to see a little bit more about the player himself, how he answered questions, how they handle themselves. And we just had two guys on here that you can just look at by just talking to them, that that they are a very well-respected teammate, but also within the school that they're at, respected student athletes in the hallways and things of that nature. You can just tell by, how they handle themselves. So they got a big test Friday. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but this kid is rocking and rolling up there. And for him to 4,000 yards on the year, that's just a crazy number to think about that and what he's done, because Derrick Henry's no slouch.
No. High school All-American the same year as Jalen Smith, I do believe. Great magazine cover there. But it's tremendous what Miles McLaughlin has been able to do this season, and really all because looking at it, 11,000 yards total.
Yeah.
He's cracked. I mean, unbelievable. And realistically, his previous 3 seasons, Miles, 28-30, 25-84, 15-79, and then 4,000 this year. So, I mean, that 28 and that 25 would be up there among, maybe top 10-ish, top 15 around there. I think of Corey Jackway, who's now moved down to number 2 or 3 on that list of a season. Remember his, New Haven running back from class of 2001. He set the record for a season. That was like 3,300 yards. Markel Jones from Columbus East, I believe, and Purdue since broke that in the mid 2010s. But now that's, 4,000 in a season. It's going to take a lot to break that. And that's what's cool to see. And ultimately they have their challenge, but also too, like, the Angola's got their story too, in the sense that, this is a team that not a lot of stock was put into them. I mean, when the sectional draw came out and they saw that they were playing number 7 Tippecanoe Valley, that only had lost 1 game, we probably a lot of us said, well, okay, good draw for Tippecanoe Valley. And boy, they have fought valiantly, and they're again down. They missed the 2-point conversion, and then they got to do the onside kick. And, Garrett is maybe thinking they've got it won with 33 seconds left, and everything just lines up real nicely. And when you got a kid like Hawk back there that could throw a halfback pass and catch a 30-yard touchdown and run it 47 yards to get it, he can hurt you a lot of different ways, and you're not ever out of the game if it's a 1-score game with Hawk back there, or a 3-score game, as they've seen like twice or 3 times in this series. So very interesting young man, and a very interesting ride for this Angola team. We wish them the best of luck as they move on in the playoffs. And a couple other games, Coach, before we get to our next break. Luers continues to roll. Pretty good showing, 28-10 over Mississinewa. They continue to keep clicking, and they move on, trying to get back to Lucas Oil again themselves.
Yeah, and we'll get a chance after the break to talk a little bit more about their path forward, as well as Adams Central and South Adams. Both those teams, again, peaking at the right time, especially the South Adams team, because there's a team that, almost got to the promised land a year ago. So they're utilizing that year to help them now as they prepare for this next game coming up on Friday. So a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So plenty more to talk about here on Upon Further Review tonight as we move on and make our own march to the regionals this Friday night. And keep listening right here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Upon Further Review here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. Alongside my partner, Eric Dukevich, I'm the coach, Shannon Griffith. Had 2 great guests tonight, Gus Tippmann from Bishop Dwenger, and then Hawk Hasselman from Angola. The Hornets get to go play on the road this week at Knox, a very tough environment, but a darn good player. We'll show some video of him here in a second as I got pulled up, but want to touch base about Bishop Luers and what they were able to do this past weekend or Friday night, because like we said, that wasn't going to be an easy game for them, because at Mississinewa, another tough on-road environment, and they went down there and dominated the game 23-10, and again, they're rocking and rolling as things go by. And Thomas Reichert is settled in as the starting quarterback. He was 7 of 14 for 128 yards and a touchdown. And then, of course, rushing the ball, Epperson, who we talked about last week had 136 yards. So, again, sounds like Dwenger has found a little bit of the passing game that they were missing for the better part of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at it, it was 14-3 after the first quarter, final score 23-10. So reality, the first quarter won that game for Bishop
Yep.
Luers on Friday night, and they went down to Gas City and took care of business. And I think, this is it's the time honored tradition of Bishop Luers doing what Bishop Luers does. And yes, 128 yards through the air, 178 yards on the rush. The touchdown for Braden Migrant, who primarily defensive guy, but a guy who's getting in the stat book now, kind of that goal line Refrigerator Perry type stuff, of a linebacker running it in. But yeah, a lot of talent on this Luers team, and it's kind of like clay when you sculpt it, and it just you know what you have, you know what you can be. Now you've got to mold it into what it can be, and I think that's where Bishop Luers is, and that's what Bishop Luers is showing. And I think that coaching staff with Kyle Lindsey and his staff, the ability to do that. And week one, boy, we it's kind of a shock to our system to see Luers is back a step, but here we are in week 13, 12,
yeah, somewhere right there.
Yeah. Entering regionals, and once again we're seeing Bishop Luers 29th sectional championship, along with Dwenger 29, and that's third all time. Oh no, tied with Snyder now. Snyder, Dwenger, Luers, second all time in sectionals. All have 29 in their history, behind Carmel, who has I think they just won over the weekend too. I think they're
they got beat. They got beat.
Oh, they got beat. So they're sitting at 32. So Carmel's beat. Yeah, Westfield beat them last second heroics there too. So now that I think about it, so anyway, Luers, just the team that continues to keep going. And look, they're playing up a little bit in 3A, and they're showing that they can hang with those groups too. And now they go to Twin Lakes, crossed in Monticello, and that's going to be their regional matchup on Friday night.
And you talk about a tough place to go play. That is another tough place to go play for them, because that will be a drive. These are games now that are going to require some travel, but they're going up against a team and a quarterback named Dold, who's thrown for 2,500 yards on the year, but he's also rushed for 347. And a kid named Wagner has rushed for 749. So they're going to face a pretty stout offense. So their defense is going to have to be on point this Friday there at Twin Lakes, because, you're like you said, Eric, they're playing up. But at this time, when you get to this point in the tourney, every team you're going to play from here on out is going to be really good, and there's just not that type of team that's going to slip through. You're going to have to bring your A game every week.
Absolutely. And Twin Lakes, they get the big win over Western, which is in Rushville, Indiana,
and that was
near
a big
Kokomo.
Win. That's a big win that was a big
win.
Yeah,
big win. Western was not a bad team. Of course, Alex Stewart's old team, the East Noble coach. But yeah, 35-19 for Twin Lakes over there. Connor Dold, 9 for 15, 200 yards. So, the per pass, the yardage per pass completion average 23.2. So they were hitting them, down the field big, because their yards per carry is only about 4.6 as a ground and pound style there too, but they can hit you over the top too. So Luers defense going to have to watch for both of those in that aspect of it. But that should be a fun one. And they're again Monticello, Indiana, not too far from Lafayette, Twin Lakes, and so a little bit of a travel. But this time of year, that's what you do it. And I'm sure Bishop Luers will know what the challenge is ahead of them and their ability to continue moving on and in this tournament.
Yeah, and again, it's like I said, you're going to play top talented teams. Now, it's not something that you're going to walk in someplace and all of a sudden, pick it up and dominate somebody from start to finish. I think now's the time you're going to have to really play the part in that regard. But this Cooper kid, he can throw it now. I mean, he's a very talented kid.
And for those who know some of their coaching history, Kevin O'Shea is the head coach at Twin Lakes in his third year. Longtime coach at Lafayette Central Catholic, Lafayette McCutcheon, Muncie Delta. 259 wins in 33 years of coaching at all those schools in his third year. 10-2 are the Twin Lakes Indians. And let's see, 5-game winning streak, averaging 37.5 points a game, 17.5 on defense. So slowing down that offense for Luers. The Luers defense, though, 14.5 points a game, 12. So their sectionals, 7 points given up to Delta, 12 to Norwell, 10 to Mississinewa. And now they look to slow down a Twin Lakes team that has their 2 losses, Logansport and Hamilton Heights, earlier on in this season. So that'll be a fun one out in Class 3A. I
wanted to show
region.
some of this Cooper kid because, he is a dynamite type of player, and I forget how to do this.
There you go. Maybe we'll get it here. There we go.
But he's a kid that this was their game against Peru. But like you said, Coach O'Shea has been known for throwing the football, but look how fast this kid is. I mean, that is a fast kid. You're looking at a kid that's a legit 4.5 right there. And so Luers is going to have to be very aware and not let this kid scramble like he's doing here, because he can hurt you both running it and, of course, passing it, as he's shown there in that clip. But he's a very good player, and they're going to have to, be ready for a team like Twin Lakes right now. And Coach O'Shea is a very good coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big one in Class 3A, one of the several regionals that will be going on. And, Coach, let's kind of start making our way through the list here. We'll start with the big boys up in Class 6A. Carroll coming off that win over Northrop. Now they travel to Penn. And that Penn team, they're another one that you see their name a lot this time of year, every year, and they're back hosting their sectional champions and now moving on to the regionals. This is a big 6A battle up in the Mishawaka area on Friday night.
Yeah, Penn's a storied team. They've had some great teams through the year, and they faced the Crown Point team that was really good this past weekend and won 28-24 in that ball game. And, going to Penn is another tough place to go play. That's where my freshman year played against Penn, number 1 ranked team in the country, and our season came to an end that year up there. And it's a great environment to go play in because they've done a lot of great things there at the school. Coach Giesman, big time head coach there for a number of years, and they've kind of kept it there a long time with that same staff still being around. But they had a big win on Friday night.
Yeah, Pete Riordan is their head coach, second year there, probably a part of that long. 11-0 is Penn, sitting at number 5 in Class 6A. They beat Crown Point, which was the number 2 team in Class 6A, 28-24 to win that sectional championship. Just always one of those teams, and beautiful facilities up there too. At Penn. Let's see, so this was their first sectional since 2023. They have not won. Penn has not won a regional since 2017 and semi-state, and their last state title, believe it or not, 2000. So it's actually been 25 years since Penn has won a state championship, which, as a Snyder grad myself, and I've been to Penn, beautiful facilities. I mean, a lot of the things you see nowadays, okay, Penn had that a while ago. They had some good stuff. But yeah, my senior year, Snyder went to the semi-state and they ran all over. Penn did. Justin Wynn, the quarterback that year from that team, and some really good players on that Snyder team, but that got to semi-state. But yeah, Penn always a class team, big class and big team, and a team that can go pretty far and do some damage. And so that should be a fun one. As Carroll is now, and let's talk about Carroll. The Carroll aspect of things, they want to be one of the big boys, and they schedule big, they play big. They're a big school, 2,500 kids, one of the smaller, maybe, 6A schools, but ultimately this is where, when they schedule, and this is what we talk about, Doug Dining at media days, preparing for this long-term success throughout the course of the season and into the postseason. Carroll has this chance to break through once again and beat a storied tradition team like Penn, because Carroll has not been in this realm of elite for too long.
Well, they played Penn, I think it was 2 years ago, and beat them up there on their way to the state final game a couple years back. So they're aware of the surroundings. They've got a running game going now. They're going to have to play their A game and things of that nature. So it'll be a good ball game.
Yeah, 2022, the odd man out sectional. Carroll beat Penn in Warsaw before going all the way to state that season and losing to Center Grove. So should be a fun one out there. Moving on to Class 4A, we talked about it a little bit. Dwenger at Lebanon. The ground game for Dwenger proves to be dividends, and the defense especially, won them an SAC titles, won them a sectional title, shut down completely that number one team, East Noble, and Riley Biddle and Alex Phillips and Austin Phillips and all that. Now they move on to Lebanon, a team not really in the conversation a lot too long around the state, but a 10-2 team that can bring it come Friday.
Yeah, they're a good ball club. They'll, they have a great fan base there at Lebanon, and it'll be a great environment for Dwenger to go and play in. And they're just going to have to, get that defense rolling again.
Yeah, they lost week 1 to Pendleton Heights at Pendleton Heights, lost then against West Lafayette Harrison on October 17th. Those are the 2 losses. So 10-2 are the Lebanon Tigers. So they're on a roll again and doing it good. And they play some good competition. Some of those Lafayette area teams are pretty good. You think of McCutcheon and West Lafayette. They don't have Lafayette Central Catholic on their schedule, but some of the, Terre Haute North, a 5A school, Danville, always good at athletics. So really strong showing again this year, averaging 31 points a game, giving up 20 on defense. So I think that actually works as well too for Dwenger and their ability. And this is the first sectional title for Lebanon since 1997. So congratulations to them. I'm sure all of Lebanon is watching and listening to us tonight, but ultimately this should be a good one as Dwenger takes the trip over to the western part of the state there. Also in Class 3A, we talked about it, Angola at Knox. Quite honestly, the challenge, Miles McLaughlin. Coach, you've got some video. What makes him so good? 4,000 yards on the season. You have to do something beyond just running the ball all the time.
Well, he is a big, strong, powerful kid, as you can say. This is against Tippy Valley, so familiar name for Angola, but he's a kid that is just a powerful runner. They're kind of a, power team, run team, counter misdirection. And if you give him an inch, he's going to take it a mile. And that's going to be the challenge for Angola this week is can they put this team behind the schedule and make them uncomfortable and face third and long as opposed to third and short.
Sure. And Miles McLaughlin, okay, looking at his 24/7 sports, why the heck does this kid not have an offer yet, Coach? 5'11", 190, 4,000 yards, 11,000 for a career. Granted, it's a 3A school, but 3A school's 3A.
Yeah, it's competition.
They're missing him on, right? Yeah. Are we missing on this kid?
Well, it's like I said, it's competition. A kid like this these are the type of stories that you see a kid like this that goes on and walks on somewhere and becomes the next best thing, Yeah. And that wouldn't surprise me if he does that because he is a special player. And the other thing we don't know is maybe this isn't his best sport. Maybe he's, a baseball player for all we know.
That's true. Yeah. So Miles McLaughlin interest, according to 24/7 Sports, from Ball State, IU, Middle Tennessee State, Purdue, and Western Michigan. So something will probably fall his way. I'm sure there's a lot of schools in our area that would gladly take him if he's available there. So that was a big one to see. Knox, number 1, undefeated in Class 3A, by the way. So mighty effort it'll take for Angola, but they've shown that they've got some prowess there. Moving on really quickly, Adams Central Eastbrook. Boy, this game might be over by 8:45 come Friday night. Actually, they start at 7:30. May still, but a lot of running here. This is going to be a lot of that wishbone crazy style of offense. Eastbrook, national attention. The fact that they're still in this tournament.
Yeah, and the fact that they both run the same offense essentially is what they do. So it will be that offense against each other on Friday night at Adams Central. So this could be a dandy of a game.
Yeah, Adams Central continues to roll 5th straight sectional. Again, you got to beat the best to be the best. Adams Central has clearly been the best all year. I think that continues. Eastbrook in that Alexandria first round matchup, I think it was first round, that weird call at the end where they run the kickoff, but there was a holding. So there was an untimed down because the Alexandria accepted the penalty. They score on the last play, get the extra 2-point conversion to win by 1 point, and now they're moving on to the regionals. That's the way it goes sometimes in football in Indiana. And in Class 1A, we have South Adams against North Miami. This game in Denver, Indiana, in North Miami County. The Starfires continue to roll, putting up a lot of points. I think another 40-point effort Friday night. The Starfires, boy, they can really fire up that offense.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to have to do again this week at North Miami, a team that's pretty grounded in what they like to do and the fundamentals of it. So they'll have their hands full, but I do like their chances in that game.
Yeah, North Miami comes off the 51-7 win over Fremont to go back-to-back sectional champs. Fremont still never won a sectional title. And North Miami, a team that is averaging 345 rushing yards a game, 3,800 yards as a team this season. So right behind Miles McLaughlin. As
a team.
Anyway, so that defense for South Adams is going to be locked and loaded on slowing that run, and I think South Adams just continue to do what you're doing, throw the ball around. Ty Lehman, McKean. We talked to Wesley Somerset earlier in the year. They got a lot of good players that once they can get out, if they can get the ball out there, they have a good chance. And I think that should be a fun one in Denver, Indiana as well. So that's our regional breakdown coming up this Friday across the area. Well, really most of the games, the only game really in our area is Adams Central, Coach. Everybody else on the road. So you're going to have to be traveling a lot. I don't know if there'll be snow in the forecast like we see earlier this week, but at time of year where everybody's good, everybody's playing for hardware, and everybody's trying to get down to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, and we don't know quite where we're going yet, and just stay tuned to our Twitter handles and things of that nature for a potential announcement of where our crew will be traveling this week. No more pregame show, so it'll just be the game and the post game for 1380 The Fan 100.9 FM. But look forward to wherever we may go to get some good football. But we're running out of time, Mr. Dukevich. So for Mr. Eric Dukevich, I'm the coach, Shannon Griffith. You've been watching and listening to Upon Further Review right here on 1380 The Fan 100.9 FM.